Hello and welcome to this Fallout 4 settlement tour. This is XtremeWackazoid and today we are looking at Spectacle Island. This is on the PS4. I'm using a number of mods which are listed below. Spectacle Island is the largest build space. It gives you a lot of opportunities, and what I wanted to do here was to build an amusement park. And so the first thing here is a dock, an extended dock for ships to arrive, with a ticket counter here that has a guard stand. And I have a lot of buildings here, so I'm trying to fit it all into one video. The first ride here is a boat ride. Where I grew up, they called it a Yankee Clipper. It's a boat that sways back and forth, rocks back and forth. So that's on scaffolding with a railing up and then, or ramp up, sorry, and Priodwin cables that extend after you build them, so you want to build them and let them drop essentially to be able to know how long they are. And then there's junk fences in between with some lighting as well. And then the first amusement park ride here is the Astroglide, and so this is on ball track supports with wiring across, so it's lit up, so it looks kind of cool at night. And these are conveyor belts, part of the workshop DLC. I don't think a human could actually fit in those cars, but hey, it's Fallout and it looks cool. And so I didn't think it would make much sense to have it wired over water. It's probably not a good idea, and so I put some gas lights here as well. And then probably the hardest thing to build here was this carousel ride. Basically I had to use the select all trick for each separate part. I built them all separately and tried to fit it all so it looked like it was built together. And so this is warehouse foundations, which I like because it's kind of generous clipping. That's the Institute teleportation pad with the atrium column from the Vault-Tec DLC, and then there's a concrete platform with scaffolding, and then there's a bunch of lighting all around with disco balls, and it looks pretty cool at night. This is the other amusement park ride, so this I called Spectacle Mountain. It's not a very inventive name, I suppose, but if you're familiar with the space, there is a large shack here that's on stilts, and it's really hard to build with. And so I basically punted and I built around it by using wooden foundations. And if you want to stack foundations like that, basically you just have to build a stairwell that snaps onto it, and then you can build above and below with more foundations. So here again is just these conveyor belts with these cars on ball track supports, and it's lit up. And then over here is the first residence. Basically I wanted this to look like a 2-level motel that goes out over the water with some balconies. And so this is built into this sandbar here, and with a wooden staircase inside. And so I won't show you every room. They look pretty similar. It's a 2x2 square with a sink, a shower, a toilet, a bed with a pillow on it that I actually placed the pillow there, with card tables and lounge chairs that look out over the water. And then up here is kind of a communal living space with some chairs, and these are actually doors that have wooden railings in it, so it looks like an open window with these ceiling fan lightings. And so there's a cabinetry here, an oven, a fridge, a sink, ice machine. And then over here is like a carcade structure, similar to what you see in Nuka World. So these are bumper cars here. And then up above, I'm using these warehouse floors that are wires, so you can look down below. And there's a bunch of arcade games here. And then there's these ball track supports with lighting up. So again, I wanted it to look pretty nice at night. And then over here is a warehouse that was a part of the original structure, and what I wanted to do was to build adjacent to it so you couldn't really tell where the original warehouse ends and mine begins. It's kind of a theme of what I like to do, and so I fit in all the farming inside here. So I use these the rug glitch with these kind of work area rugs and with planters there. That's mute fruit and then hub flower inside there. And then over here is a restaurant with the warehouse foundations and ceiling fan lighting. And I like to have a restaurant because settlers will come and congregate here at the end of the night. And it looks like they're lining up to order food. Then they come and sit down and it looks like they're eating food. And I like for it to look like a functioning restaurant. So there's a grill here, a sink, some cabinetry, an oven, and a fridge. And then down below is like a boat launch area, and I didn't do much with this except for I put some kind of lounge area there, and I wanted this to look like, kind of like an open air fish market. So there's a bunch of different fishing accoutrement with some buoys and hanging fish. Probably smells really bad. And one of the first things I do when I build is I decide where I'm going to put my power source, and so I put my power source inside this structure. You can kind of see at least one of them in there, and then I just patched it up, and I always put a barrier there because attackers will definitely target your power source. Over here are a couple of water purifiers. I just have a couple of them because I like it to be more or less realistic. You can fit a lot of water purifiers at Spectacle Island, which has a lot of resale value, so it would make sense to do that, but I liked it to look kind of realistic. This is my other residence. Basically, I wanted this to look like apartment flats that all build into the same structure with interior walls, and then it's up on these wooden foundations. So this, again, is a 2x2 room for each of the settlers with a sink, a shower, a toilet, and kind of a kitchenette. And I just have, I believe, 9 settlers here. It's the most efficient number. It's 3 farmers, 4 vendors, a provisioner, and a guard. You can fit a lot of settlers here if you'd like, but I like it to be kind of realistic. They're all wearing these summer shorts and lounge wear outfits with ballistic weave in their clothing and ballistic weave in their hats. And these are my other vendors here with, again, ceiling lighting, warehouse foundations, the junk vendor. With the shelving, I build it out into an open space, and I raise and lower it with the concrete pillar select all trick. And then I use the OCDecorator to place the items there. And so my clinic vendor has a gurney and a wheelchair. And then down here is like a go-kart area. This was a bunch of shipping crates, and I scrapped them all. And so I built a go-kart rink here with motorcycles, and there's these rubber tires as barriers, which probably wouldn't act very well as barriers. You'd probably crash out into the water. But it's Fallout, so maybe it should be dangerous. So hopefully this will give you a few ideas of what you can do with the space. If you like what you see, you can hit like, and you can subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you.